So the United States' initial response to World War I was, thank goodness it's not over here. But because of all the things we'd already talked about, the United States was primed to assist the Allies. And Woodrow Wilson knew after the sinking of Lusitania that it was probably a matter of time before the United States was drawn into the conflict. So he began prepping for war as soon as the sinking of Lusitania happened. He asked for and got Congress to allow him to increase the size of the military. They did some other things as well, but he wins re-election on the campaign slogan that he kept us out of war. So it was popular to promote this idea of peace and prosperity. The United States is making a lot of money because of all this war profiteering, but the United States kind of sees the war on the horizon. The Germans renewed its submarine warfare after promising not to. But the last straw was really the Zimmermann Note. The Zimmermann Note was a letter from the Germans to the Mexican government. It was sent in secret, intercepted by the British. The British then gave it to the United States. And it basically amounts to a threat on the American soil. The Zimmermann Note was a request by the Germans that the Mexican government attack the United States, opening up a second front where the Americans would be more concerned about defending their turf than coming and fighting in Europe. The Mexican government never did anything about it, but the United States heard about it. The Mexicans were promised that if they won the war, they would be able to take all the land back that the United States took as a result of the Mexican-American War. So the Zimmermann Note, the renewed submarine warfare, all of this meant the United States was being pulled into war. Immediately, Woodrow Wilson gets Congress to pass what's referred to as the Lever Act and the War Industries Board. And both of these are ways for the government to control industry and economy. The things that Wilson could now do is he could control what was being transported on railroads, what was being produced in industry. It's a very real way of direct government control of the economy. He also raises taxes because war is expensive. So they raise the tax rate mostly for people with high incomes, but the taxes do go up. And he's going to start borrowing money through Liberty bonds. A Liberty bond is when a private citizen buys the Liberty bond on the promise that in 20 or 25 years that they will earn back that money with interest. Essentially, this is the government borrowing money from its private citizens. And when they spend the money, that's deficit spending. So we'll talk more about that with World War II. But Liberty bonds were a way for the government to raise revenue that eventually they would pay back later. There's a whole new labor force that's created because of World War I. A lot of men, particularly the white men, were going off to fight the war. African Americans are going to start moving north in what's referred to as the Great Migration. They're going to move to those northern cities looking for work, and they start shifting out of the South and towards northern urban areas. Women are also going to get a chance to work in the workplace, and there's other ethnic groups that are also going to have an opportunity that didn't happen before.